Hi, this is Sherry Veronica. With me in studio today is Patricia Benedict, and we wanted to talk about child maintenance and ask a question. Are males getting a fair shake in the courts there in Barbados? Are they being treated fairly with this child maintenance? I don't know what Patricia knows, but what she does know, she'll tell you right now. Welcome into the studio, Patricia.
Yes, Ms. Veronica, thank you for having me.
You are so welcome.
This is something I wanted to speak to about for a while. And then people could, if the males are affected, could comment about it in your comment section. Now, I'm only referring to what I know at Holton for a fact. Magistrate Wayne Clark is really a biased person when it comes to child maintenance of the there. I mean, I've seen so many men come out. Sometimes I just stand up on Wednesdays and talk to those men, and some of the men come out crying, or you could hear him shouting at the men. Now, don't get me wrong. If there's a reason that the men and some of the men are not paying, I ain't mean to shout at them, but he has to tell them like it is. But Miss Veronica, Mr. Magistrate Wayne Clark has never been fair to to when it comes to those men. I've never, every person that has come out, male has come out, has complained to me about Magistrate Wayne Clark and the disrespectfulness. The things he tells those people, telling the mothers don't let your daughter do not let your daughter see the father. Or in one case, the gentleman had 3,000 arrests, Miss Veronica. He paid 2 in less than 2 weeks. When he went back to court, instead of Mr. Magistrate Wayne Clark say, well, you're trying, he asked the child mother, what do you want me to do, send him up in prison? And she said, yes. They should not be allowing in the courts. It's supposed to be it's supposed to be 50-50, fairness, listen to both sides, but there's always been a one-sided person. The Magistrate Angela Knight. I went there on Wednesday when she was doing child maintenance. You know what time that court finished? 8 o'clock in the nighttime, Miss Veronica. 8 o'clock. Because she thought that's when Mr. Magistrate Wayne Clark wasn't there. She felt it right to listen to every case because every case is important and every case is different. And that's why and don't get me wrong, you need balance. So they like when the women at the courts, and don't get me wrong, because some men are doing a lot of nonsense. I will talk about that a little later. They like when Magistrate Wayne Clark is presiding over the matter because they know the man has no chance, Miss Veronica, when it comes to Magistrate Wayne Clark. It's probably all over some of the courts too. If the men are trying, the men are trying. One particular man said that he has his daughter, and the Magistrate Wayne Clark telling the mother who are supposed to pay maintenance, if you don't have to pay if you don't want to. What kind of example? So it only is one-sided. So the men has to pay maintenance, but when it comes to women, you're telling them that they don't have to pay. It's not fair. I ain't know about nothing. The person was out of court because I ain't hearsay. If I hearsay, it's allegedly. But the person was there outside, and he said he's done it, and he ain't coming back here. Because he's not getting, he can't keep on coming to court. But in fairness to it, when Miss Angela Knight was there, he came back. So he probably got better results. He's not Miss Magistrate Wayne Clark needs to go. He needs to go home. Now, I want to speak about, and not only that too, in another matter when Miss Knight was presiding over, she didn't know nothing about it. There was this particular father that do not see his daughter often, and he's always an alcoholic. Miss Veronica, The woman broke down because she said she's not taking her, she doesn't want her daughter to go around him or spend the night because she doesn't really know him. In that matter, I understood that, and Miss Ned eventually did the right decision. But Miss Veronica, I could show you, I have videos of this man. I think I had partial videos of him. They were looking for him, and there were some bus drivers. They were outside by Marcy drinking, Miss Veronica. They were in court, but they were outside drinking. I came out there and tell the man, the magistrate looking for you, the lawyer looking for you. The man said he come in. The man took half an hour. I took pictures of the banks they were drinking, and the man went in that court drunk, Miss Veronica. Then things should not be allowed. And then Mr. Rock of the court is telling people, I'm trying to help them, telling some people have actually told me, Mr. Rock, tell them do not speak to me. Now, one more thing, Miss Veronica, the child maintenance things. I would like the fathers, and I'm calling you to call me at 247-4800 or send a comment in the comment section. And the fathers or the mothers, are you getting your child maintenance money? Are the fathers putting the monies in the court system and it goes disappear? To the mothers, have you gone to court and you heard the father say, well, they put the money in there and the clerks tell you they ain't got no money for you? The Auditor General and the government needs to investigate that. I know of a Guyanese national who cannot read and write because he told me that his child mother had said that in the courtroom. Miss Veronica, he said he don't understand his bill not going down at all. Miss Veronica, I sat down with him because I sent everything to Mr. Williams too. I sat down with this gentleman for hours and we put all the receipts together, Miss Veronica. He overpaid. But because they know that he can't read and write, where has all the money's gone to? And they have to investigate some of those clerks. Because one bill says it's cleared. Next bill he got thousands of dollars. It doesn't make sense. But because they know he can't read or write, they kept on adding on. And they kept some, and I could confidently say they kept some, the clerks kept some of that money for themselves, Miss Veronica. He overpaid. But the money didn't go to the child or the mother. The clerk's pocket.
So that's a serious charge, though. That's a very serious charge, and I'm sure that your Auditor General, if he is in, like, those accounts are given to him, that should be easily picked up. That the monies are being put into the personal accounts of people who work in the court. So that's a serious charge you have there.
Ms. Veronica, it depends on how many receipts books there are, though.
Oh, okay.
You understand what I'm saying? I know I'm talking about Ms. Veronica.
Okay.
And then when I calculated with him hours, because I was giving Mr. Williams all the information while the team, the guy paid months in advance. And then not 1 cent went to the child mother or the child. The clerks kept it.
Because
they have to investigate.
So you think that happened because it was told that he could not read and write?
Exactly.
Okay.
But he probably not the only one. There are people who could read and write too, and it probably happening too.
Okay.
And the mothers happening probably both ways. And this is why, because you have to be careful. You have to watch or what receipt book they put that child maintenance money into, Miss Veronica. Because they would have one for themselves and one for the government.
Okay.
So you have to ask them, you have to see, you have to make sure that it is, well, this is the government owned. Ask them a question. Is this government receipt book that you put in the child maintenance? Ask, don't be afraid to ask them. Is that the government book you put in the child maintenance money in? And they have to investigate. Senior legal clerk Angela Mahone, when she was there, she did a lot of nonsense. And she would have known about that incident what I'm talking about there. She would have some knowledge of it. So I didn't pass on the bad behavior to the others. And I've heard in other comments and other places where somebody allegedly said that the clerks take the money allegedly and put it back when payday comes. It's not their money. If that's the case, allegedly, this is not money for them.
Right.
You should never do it. But I could talk about the Old Town Court because I know that for a fact because I turned to the paperwork for one individual and where the clerks were keeping money for themselves. And that needs to be investigated, not only for Old Town, for every other clerk offices across Barbados. And make sure that it's the government receipt book and not the clerks or whoever in the bad apples have their own receipt book and you put in money, you're giving them money and they're writing up a receipt for you, but then you don't have no proof because that's the mentality they have, especially I'm talking about Whole Town. They would say, well, you're going to do it. We even if you give you a receipt, we don't, but it's not in this book. You know what I'm saying? So it's a serious thing. And the Auditor General, the government needs to have the Auditor Generals investigate that because it is true. It is real. I've come across a case where the clerks have taken funds that did not belong to them, Miss Veronica.
Yeah.
And I think Magistrate Wayne Clark is not the right person for the Child Maintenance Court or any court in Whole Town. And Miss Angela Knight is a very fair person. And I feel she will do a wonderful job there because the amount of things that are happening down in Whole Town Court, the prosecutors and Mr. Rock and the police like Magistrate Wayne Clark because it's a business they're running down there. They get paid by individuals to frustrate people, and that should not be happening. Bring back Miss Angela Knight. They didn't like her down there because she was doing a wonderful job down there, Miss Veronica. They could not pass her with that because she was brought in by the government that she told me. They brought in. She came. When I spoke to her one time, she said she's here on behalf of the government. That's what she told me when I went to her one time. So that's it, Miss Veronica.
Okay, I want to thank you for coming in. Thank you for calling in. This is Sherry Veronica, Naked Departure Radio.